Coming up in this episode of Stay Haunted, we give you our full review of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood 2019. Greetings and welcome to Stay Haunted, Creepy Kingdom's podcast, all about haunts. I am your host, Mr. James H. Carter II, coming to you with the first of many haunt reviews. That's right, haunt season is upon us. Stay Haunted has returned, and we've been in the trenches, and we are ready to tell you what we saw. Starting off with the one that starts off every season, that's Universal Studios Hollywood's Halloween Horror Nights. To have even more haunt fun, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch our show, Creepy Quest. You can see our first-hand experience at all these haunts. But before we get started with the show, I just want to let you know that this episode of Stay Haunted is brought to you by the Creepy Kingdom Patreon account. That's right. If you want to support what we do here at Creepy Kingdom and get exclusive bonus content, then just go to patreon.com/creepy. This episode is also brought to you by subspookystuff.com, a t-shirt and apparel company for spooky people, and currently is the only place on this planet to get your very own Creepy Kingdom t-shirt. It's somespookystuff.com. Alrighty, let's get to haunting. Hey there, gang, and welcome to Stay Haunted. I am joined by Roxy Tart.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Kicking back, laying by the pool, took a trip to the beach.
Yeah,
What
year was that?
That's what I do literally in my dreams, because what we have been doing is running every day hardcore to a billion different Halloween events, and it has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite a season. We're not even done with it yet. We're right in the thick of it. But we took a pause so we could tell you all about some of the things we've done.
It's really funny. James and I were talking to our friend Michelle this morning, and she mentioned, that it's only the 3rd. And she said it a couple times. It's only the 3rd. It's only October 3rd. And, and she meant like the season is just starting. Like everything is just ramping up. But for us, it started over a month ago. And we're like in the middle of it.
Yeah. And it's been intense, to say the least.
It has been. But like I forget that not everyone does what we do. And so like people are like super excited because it's the beginning of October, it's the beginning of haunt season, and they're going to go do all these things. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. We already did all these things.
Well, we're here to tell everyone about them so they can go do them themselves. That's our jobs here. We are the media.
It's a cool job. It's a pretty cool job. Not going to lie.
I like it.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about
Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood.
That's right. Not to be confused with Universal Studios Orlando, which will be in a different podcast.
That's very true.
With Florida Man.
Yes. We're talking to Grant, as well as two people from the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Nice.
All about that, since you or I did not get to go this year.
No. It didn't happen, but we did get to go to Hollywood, and it was pretty fun.
It was pretty fun. So let's talk all about it. I mean, first of all, let's set the scene. We actually typically when we go to Halloween Horror Nights, we cover it on Media night. And, some might say media night is not a fair representation of what actually is going on at haunts because they make sure everything is perfect for the media and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't we didn't go
it's
media
smaller
night.
crowds. Media nights are smaller crowds, so there's not as many lines and whatnot. But yeah, we missed media night. We didn't get to go.
So we went on
I should say we couldn't go because we were covering a different event.
Yeah, we could not attend. So
we could not attend media night, so we went on a normal night opening weekend.
That's right. I also just want to thank our friends at Universal for accommodating our crazy schedule and letting us go.
Right?
On a different night.
So cool. Ridiculously amazing. They did not have to do that, and they did. And I love them. I love the Universal people.
Oh, Universal people. We can't say the peoples by name, but we'll just
nope. But they know who they are.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are, Universal person.
And now we've narrowed down to one person. But anyways.
Well, she's our favorite.
Yeah, and now we've identified as a gender. Man, we're really just telling all our personal information. But anyway.
Yeah, no, we're moving on now. Okay. But yeah, so we went on Sunday night of opening weekend. Which was definitely different than going on media night.
Yeah, I mean, they'd been in full swing for a few days.
Yep, so they had kind of found their groove and whatnot. I feel like media night for on the other side of it for the actors and whatnot. That's their, basically that's their dress rehearsal.
Although I think Universal they have an employee preview night. Before the comedian, so that's kind of their.
So I guess that would be their dress rehearsal.
But maybe some of the other haunts, you're correct on that.
Yeah, but yeah, they were by Sunday they had kind of found their groove. It was interesting to be there and not know half of the people in attendance at the event because we made it through the event. We made it through Horror Nights in record time, and we weren't rushing. We weren't trying to make it through. We were, we said before we went, we're exhausted. We're going to take it slow. We're just going to have a good time. But I feel like not having to stop every 10 feet and talk to somebody that we knew really hurried the process along.
Right. So pro tip, don't go with your friends. Keep your head down. Keep moving. You can, go with your immediate friends, but make sure there's no acquaintances around. Just get to work. By work meaning get through these mazes. Which, in all honesty, we did utilize Express Pass, so that was helpful.
Yes, 100%.
But we also were strategic. We weren't rushing, but pro tip for our listeners going to these major haunts. Start in the back. Whatever the furthest maze is from the entrance, go all the way there because everybody's going to the first thing they see.
Yeah, get there when it opens or as close to it as you possibly can and head straight for the back.
That's what we
especially
did.
At Universal. Especially.
Because it's broken into the three different sections. You have the upper lot and lower lot, which is where the regular theme park attractions are. And then... I guess they were calling it the back lot area. I don't recall off the top of my head, but an area normally off limits to theme park guests. They have a little section there where there's a few mazes as well. Which
back lot. We call it the back lot.
See, look at me. I know stuff.
And that was the first place that we headed.
Yeah. So
because that was at the very back.
So if you don't know what's there, we're just going to say what we did instead of listing everything up top because that's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, so in the back lot technically has two haunts and a scare zone.
At three.
Oh, 3 haunts in the scare zone.
Yeah.
My bad. Forgot.
So what was in the back there was Ghostbusters, one of the most anticipated houses for sure. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman and the Creepshow House, Halloween Horror Nights exclusive Hollywood Horror Nights exclusive house. So many tongue twisters there.
Yep. And then also in the back lot was my favorite scare zone, All Hallows Eve.
Yes. So let's get to what we did first, which we went right to Ghostbusters. And I wasn't quite sure what to make of this as a Halloween Horror Nights house.
Me either. I was not expecting much.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. Like literally, I can't even speculate. I was just like, wasn't quite sure why they were doing this as a house. It's not something that would come to mind for me that would like, it's like, oh, that translates really good to haunt. But you know, I loved being in there. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was obviously it's all about nostalgia and being able to walk through the firehouse, seeing Janine on the phone.
Right, that was cool. I thought that was really, really cool. Obviously it wasn't really scary. You know, it's Ghostbusters. It's not a scary, property to start with. So I wasn't expecting to be scared, but it was a lot of fun. It was done really creatively, and it was really, really cool to be, especially if you are a Ghostbusters fan, to be able to walk through basically the scenes of the movie.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of it made the scenes pretty intimate. You know, when I think of Ghostbusters, I think of kind of big, huge set pieces, and everything kind of seemed in your face, which kind of I think was a cool approach instead of a big, small, like you feel like everything's just like far away from you kind of thing. One area of the film that was probably one of my favorites that I was expecting to be the scariest was the library scene. And if I don't mistaken or not, did you miss the scare in the library scene? Is that something we discussed?
Yeah.
Because there was.
I remember. See, and I missed it, so I didn't think there was. What I did catch that I really, really liked was all the card catalog drawers.
Yeah, that was
going.
Awesome.
Like I really like that part. I like simple things like that are effective. But yeah, I missed the scare, but you caught it.
Yeah, it was kind of the librarian was behind a mirror or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how it all went. It was all kind of a blur, but
yeah, I caught it. So I caught the scare on my phone. Like I have photos of the librarian, but I think that by the time I caught it, it was already revealed, and I didn't know it was a scare.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I got you. It wasn't very jarring as opposed to the other jump scares where there's lighting and music cues.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious, like, this is a scare. And it was very bright in there the whole time, so I'm not really sure what the deal was. I keep hearing this, like, tingling noise. Like magic.
Well, the one that just went off was my phone, and I put it on silent.
I know. I was talking about your phone. Tingly is the way I described it.
Look, my phone is magic. Okay, but I turned off the sounds.
All right. And I thought the way they used the lasers coming out of the proton packs were cool. It was. It was fun to be all in the mix there. Other than that,
it was.
I thought it was maybe a little overkill on the Slimer jump scares.
There were a lot of Slimers, and like I really like Slimer, but there were a lot of Slimers. I felt like every time you turned a corner, there was a Slimer coming at you.
But then again, I don't know what else it would be. So they did what they could. Probably one of the coolest things. It's kind of like a little secret thing is that they had Rick Moranis' character kind of roaming around outside, and every day they had a secret word, and if you give him the secret word, you find this on Twitter, that he gives you his business card, which is a replica of the business card from the movie of his.
And he was good. He was good. He didn't he looked enough like the character where you're like, okay, this is a face character, because face characters, but he sounded just like him.
Yeah. He had Rick Moranis' voice down, and you know, it's kind of a weird character to be like, oh, I'm just going to come around and just kind of be this guy from the movie, but also I know secret passwords to give you my card and not break character. And he was able to kind of, he did it kind of flawlessly.
And he totally did it. He didn't look exactly like Rick Moranis, but he sounded like him, and he had all the mannerisms of his character from the movie, and that was really cool. That was a cool little like nod to it, especially because at Halloween Horror Nights, if you go, you know you're going to wait in line. Even with Express Pass, there's going to be a little bit of a line. And I think it's really neat that they put something out there to keep you, like, entertained.
Yeah. Just a little added bonus. Didn't have to do that, of course, but adds to the fun.
Yeah.
So, I guess, there's a lot of, this is an anniversary year for Ghostbusters, so there's been a lot of Ghostbusters talk, and they had a big Ghostbusters celebration at Sony Studios this summer, and I guess that's why they did it this year. And they announced a new movie with some of the original cast, all that kind of fun stuff. So I don't know. I have a feeling we'll be seeing more Ghostbusters in the future at Horror Nights.
Cool. I'm down.
In some way. All right. Not much more else to say about that. Next, we went on to Frankenstein Meets the Wolf Man, which a continuation of their Universal Monsters house that they did last year. So what was your impressions of this one?
Well, if I was to compare it to last year's Universal Monsters house, I liked last year's way better. Just throwing that out there. I thought it kind of flowed better. This one, it was all Frankenstein and the Wolfman, but I didn't really understand the story, if there was one. It seemed like there was supposed to be one.
No, it seems like there's a story. I think we agreed on this one. That there's some kind of story being unfolded here, but it's really unclear what it is.
Yeah, like it was a cool haunt to walk through. The scenes were really nice. I love the setting, like it had that whole like gypsy like feeling to it. Like I liked it, but I just didn't understand moving from scene to scene what exactly was going on. And like I when we go through these, we go through them, with our phones, our cameras and stuff like that, because we know that we have to capture it because they work media and we need to, post about it. So I know that sometimes I do miss things because I'm trying to take a photo or I'm trying to get an effect or whatnot. But this one, I just couldn't. No. I have no clue what was going on.
I'm not sure. There seemed to be somebody that was torturing both of them. So I don't know.
At one point they were like fighting, and then at one point they were friends.
The bride makes an appearance in a dismembered state.
I
think
I basically missed her.
Oh, you missed her? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was the room where they were both like in electric chairs or something like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then behind them, the bride was cut up in pieces, moving around.
For goodness sake, what was happening in this place?
I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the story was because all the scenes were great. I thought that I loved so much detail and so much immersiveness. It was just fun to be in there.
This has one of my favorite scare effects that the Universal Monsters one had last year. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to ruin it for people. But there's a room where they're like playing black and white movies on the wall, and they're showing like the title screen to the old movies and whatnot. And I really like the whole effect that goes into that. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a Horror Nights Hollywood exclusive thing. I haven't really seen that anywhere else.
No, me either.
The thing we're talking about with the screens. That's all we'll say. The screens. Yeah, definitely a lot of fun and definitely a lot of attention to detail and very immersive story. Not sure what was happening, but what do you really need to know? Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Wolfman Frankenstein.
All right. Next house.
Next we split up.
Yes, I would say this was us. I went on my own.
Yep.
Because Roxy,
I wasn't going. All
she
right.
wasn't going. She
Not
was
going
too scared. She was too scared, and I'll get into why.
Get into why.
But it's Creep Show.
You don't need to blast my personal business all over the podcast, James.
It's fine. I won't. I won't say why.
No, but I decided to eat while he did Creep Show.
So it's up to me to describe Creep Show to everyone. So the house is based upon the anthology film from the 80s from Stephen King and George Romero, and the revival series that just premiered on Shudder. So it takes from the anthology film and 2 episodes, which at the point of going through the house when I went through, those episodes had not been released. So zero context for what was going on there. All that being said, the screen trick that you're talking about was kind of utilized here as comic book covers between the different sections.
Neat.
So that was kind of cool. Definitely some iconic scenes come to life from the Creepshow film, and some grosser than others.
Basically, look, I'm gonna say this. I don't get scared. I don't get scared at haunts. Haunted houses don't scare me, any of that. But what I don't like is being grossed out. So that I don't find enjoyable at all in any way. So I skipped to the Creepshow house for that reason.
Yeah, because there was something in there that we know grosses her out. Before we knew that from the panel at Midsummer Scream, because they gave a little preview of what was going in there. So I was like,
which was fabulous. Thank you so much. I appreciate it when people warn us about stuff.
Getting to the portion of the maze that was on the new Shudder series, I didn't have context, but the set design was pretty incredible. It was so, we're in some like dirty basement or something, and you couldn't convince me that I wasn't actually in a dirty. There was just so much crap everywhere. It was just all around that, and I was spending so much time looking at everything that this was the only time that a scare actor actually scared me, because I wasn't paying attention, and they got me. I'm pretty sure I was recording video at the time.
That's awesome, though. We do a lot of stuff, and when we are so into it that we can get surprised by a scare actor, like, that really says something.
Yeah, no, they really did really well. And I also want to give a shout out to a friend and someone who was in Foolish Mortals, Nick Morgan. He's a set designer, and he did all the sets for the new Creepshow series. So,
nice. Is that Nick Morgan from Foolish Morgan?
Yes, from the Foolish Morgans, yes.
At Foolish Morgans on Instagram if you want to go check him out.
Yeah, it's all obviously all Haunted Mansion stuff there, but he was just overjoyed that there was a haunt that was created based on off of his work, because it's literally, he's the set designer.
That's so cool.
He designed and created and populated, especially the basement scene with all this stuff that's based on his work. So that's why I was really trying to take it all in. So
that's awesome.
Very cool. Unfortunately, he lives in Florida, or no, he lives in Georgia, but he's on the East Coast, so he wasn't able to get out here to see it. But oh well.
That's too bad.
Yep. One day, something he makes will come to the East Coast, I'm sure. This is the second actual haunt that was based on his work. The first one was he was the set designer on the film Hellfest, and Six Flags had a Hellfest haunt last year based on the movie. So he's very excited about all that.
Nice.
So yeah, you got something to eat. And
yes, I did. I went to the little food area over by like Ghostbusters and all of that.
Themed, wasn't it? Whatever.
Yes, Ghostbusters themed like counter service restaurant. I really, really wanted the cherry cola corn dog. I don't know what that has to do with Ghostbusters, but I really wanted it. But it's beef, and I don't eat beef, so I couldn't get that. So I got the Zool's egg sandwich, and I don't know why it was Zool's. It was a fried egg sandwich. I don't know. It was all right.
What was the desire to have an egg sandwich at like nighttime?
It was the only thing on the menu that was not beef or spicy.
Gotcha. I mean, I ate some of it, so I mean, because you offered me some. But I was just wondering what was the desire to have an egg sandwich.
There was a monster chili dog, Slimer's dirty water dog, Nashville hot bites, Zool's egg sandwich, cherry cola corn dog, and loaded mac and cheese. And the egg sandwich seemed like the safe choice there.
What was the mac and cheese loaded with?
I think it had jalapenos on it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say the mac and cheese seemed like the safe bet, but not with jalapenos on it.
No. No. So, egg sandwich it was, and whatever, it did the trick. Like.
All right, right on. All right, so moving right along, we moseyed on out of this area.
No, we did All Hallows
Evil. I'm sorry, I skipped this. So yeah, there's a scare zone in this area, which is weird that it's called a scare zone. To me, it was an outdoor maze, because a scare zone, in my interpretation, is an area outside between mazes or houses, whatever you want to call them, that is that is unavoidable. And this was like completely avoidable. It was roped off. It even had a queue, which I've never seen before.
Well, actually, so last year, the Holidays in Hell was a scare zone.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and it was, same thing. Yeah,
but it was the same kind.
But was it in a position where you had to walk through it?
No, it wasn't.
Because I'm trying to recall, because this area in the back lot in the past, they would have like a tram that would bring you down there. They don't have that anymore. And when you got off, you had to walk through that area, to get to where the mazes were. And I think it was the first year I went to Hollywood, which in 2015. That area was based on The Purge, and I remember walking down that row. There was whatever purge activity going on, and then you turn a corner and a van door opens up, and someone with a machine gun starts firing like machine gun in your face. It's this complete simulate, like lights coming out of the gun, loud sound. I was like, wow, this is the most intense scare zone I've ever been in.
Wow.
But you had to walk through that way to get to the mazes. In this case, but now you don't. You could completely avoid this, and you could possibly even miss it if you're not looking for it.
Which is sad, because it was so good. The whole thing was, it's All Hallows Evil. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be a it was about magic. It was witchcraft and Satan worship and that kind of stuff.
It seemed to be a little like colonial times, right?
Yeah, old school magic. But it was so good. It was so good. And I loved it because, unlike the indoor haunts, you could stop and you could look at things, and there was enough room for people to pass you by.
Yeah, that was really cool. But I will say that Shannon from Nightmares Conjurings, her experience was when going through there is that they did not allow her to stop. Whenever she would stop, the staff would move her along, which I found very interesting because I didn't have enough 2 days later. Or 3 days later, whatever it was.
Yeah, no, we were able to stop. We were able to take video. There was this little thing going on. It was like a puppet show type. It was set up like an old school puppet show type thing, but it was two witches casting a spell, and we were able to totally stop and take a video of basically the whole thing. And I went backwards at one point to go look at something again.
So it was. Yeah, I mean, I hopefully they allow people to keep doing what we did and have that kind of experience.
Yeah, I loved it. It was definitely on like my top in my top three of the night.
Maybe since there was no queue when we went, they're a little more lax when there's not a queue.
Yeah, well, there. That's true. There was like no one in line, so we just walked right in. But it was awesome, and I'm glad that we got to do it how we did it.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so then we moseyed on out of there, right? We definitely did at that point, and we went to the lower lot. On the lower lot, there's Stranger Things and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Just the two, I believe, right? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so all right, we might as well get it over with. We did Stranger Things. This maze is based on season 2 and 3. As last year they're there, it was based on season 1, which I thought last year's was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
I did get to do a lights on tour before going through it, so the magic is taken away when you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what everything that's happening here. For last year I did, not this year. So, but anyway, so that was okay. Obviously, we love Stranger Things as a property.
Yeah,
and the idea of going to a Stranger Things haunt is an exciting idea.
Right, we love the show. We love the show. We did the pop-up earlier in the year when season 3 came out, and that was so much fun. Like, you guys did you and Shannon got to go do the thing at Santa Monica Pier, like the party and the pop-up that happened. We went and did the Starcourt Mall thing. Like, we were all in for Stranger Things.
Yes, exactly.
And then there was the haunt.
So
you guys, it's just not very good.
We pride ourselves on being honest on our podcast. Not that we lie other places, but our podcast is definitely a forum for us to speak our minds. And it was probably the most popular maze just because of the the IP, but it was probably one of the worst mazes at Halloween Horror Nights I've ever been through ever. I'm not gonna say I've been the worst ones ever in my life. I've been to like crappy local mazes, but
it was not good, and there were so many different things that made it not good. You can't even say like, oh, there was too many black walls, because there weren't, or oh, the costuming was bad, because it wasn't. It was just there were so many things that felt like letdowns.
Yeah, I'd say if the first thing is my real thought on it is that it didn't feel like a haunt maze. It felt like an exhibit, and not necessarily fascinating exhibit.
No,
but it felt like
it
felt like an exhibit. Like there wasn't really a lot of scares that I recall.
No, it did remind me a little bit of walking through the Walking Dead one at Universal, not during haunt season.
Yeah, but even then, even when you go through there, they still have actors in there.
Yeah, and there were a couple of actors in this one. But like when you first walk in, you're walking down the hallway with all the drawings on the walls that like make up from season 2, and it's so cool. The hallway looks great.
Yeah,
the drawings are really cool. Following it it's a lot of fun. It almost gives you like this Hansel and Gretel type feel, like you are actually following it into the show. Like, it's a great entrance, but it's really long and nothing happens. And so you're just walking and you're like, all right, when do we start?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go and break this down piece by piece here. I'm just going to say I saw things I thought were bad show and not up to the quality and of Halloween Horror Nights as a brand and or Stranger Things. I agree. I don't know why or how this is, but my takeaway was that they were setting this up to be a permanent walkthrough installation. They have not announced that or not, but that's just my guess. And
I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're saying why would anyone want to walk through it, but people want to walk through it because they like Stranger Things, and they might not like haunts. Which
Yeah, and like that makes sense to me. Like it didn't. There was just without going through and nitpicking all of the things. There were just like you said. There were some things that were just did not feel like they were up to. They were at the standard that we hold Universal to, that we expect stuff to be, especially because so many other things were done so well that these things just seem very out of place and out of character.
Yeah. And my only other gripe specifically is that I feel like there is enough iconic imagery from season 3 to put into a haunt, and none of it was there.
No, it wasn't.
In fact, I don't even know how, because when you get it separates as now we're getting to season 3. There's nothing from the season 3 part that I recall at all from watching the show. Like, I didn't feel
if you're gonna do something Stranger Things from season 3, I need Starcourt Mall.
I mean, that's a given. The Starcourt Mall. I saw a glimpse of Orlando's, and we're not going to do Orlando versus Hollywood here, and they had a Starcourt Mall section of it. So even in some way, but you start with the Starcourt Mall for sure. What about the scenes in the pool, in the boiler room?
Yes, in the pool house or in
the crazy lady with the rats. Like, those are all like made for haunts. like I don't even care that it's not cohesive or makes sense why we're going to these places. Just put me in them.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to say one more thing about the Stranger Things house. If you listen to this podcast before you go through the Stranger Things house, you will get wet. Okay.
I guess that's probably a good thing we should bring up, is that really about spraying us with water this year at Horror Nights. That's not the only time you get wet.
Yeah, there's a lot of water. There were a few houses where you get wet, but in Stranger Things specifically, you will get wet. There are many things squirting water at you. It's interesting. But unfortunately, depending on how tall you are, these things are at ear or eye level.
And it got you in the ear.
Got me in the ear. It got a friend of ours in the ear. Since then, I've seen on my Instagram stories, it's gotten a few people in the eyes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because they were actually, I was looking forward, and it got me in, and I mean, you guys, it got me right in the ear. Okay, I literally had that swishing water thing in my ear for the rest of the night. It was
so
not
crappy.
Good, but I guess, instead of looking forward, these few people were looking actually at the walls and whatnot, and they literally got it right in the eye. So
yeah, they should aim these things like below eye level for sure, or head level.
Right.
I mean, because getting hit below your head, like anywhere, is not a big deal.
No, and it's not like we're short people. I'm not. I'm 5'7". I'm pretty average height. Like, I really felt like these things should have been moved lower. But that is like the one thing that I really feel that anybody that walks through the house needs to know, is that, just be aware of the water streams. And man, they came out hard.
Yeah, we're thinking you're real close proximity to those streams. Well,
yeah. For other times we got wet, but it wasn't with that kind of force.
Although I got something later that you didn't get. So that was way more than what you got. It didn't get in my ear, but it was a lot more water. So I'll save that for a little teaser to look forward to. But don't think we'll see Stranger Things next year. I mean, the show just got renewed for a 4th season, but who knows when that's coming out. So maybe this will be a permanent installation. I don't know. We will see. personally, I'd prefer like a Stranger Things like ride or something if you're gonna put something
Right?
permanent in there.
That'd be awesome.
I don't, whatever. But
All right, so where do we go next?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Killer Clowns.
which was we were pretty down
Top
in the
shelf.
dumps after Stranger Things, and this turned our frown right upside down.
And okay. They took a pretty obscure cult B movie from the like early 1980s.
It's late 80s.
And what?
We're gonna nitpick. It's a late 80s movie.
Was it
Yeah.
the late 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So from the late 80s, they took it and they built a house out of it, and it could have gone real bad, and it went so good.
I mean, for starters, if you've ever seen the film or a fan of the film and all that stuff, like, you get to walk into the movie. Like, for one, it doesn't take much to buy that these are the characters, because they kind of look like haunt characters in the movie with their crazy masks. So.
Yeah. It's like this movie was made to be a haunt, and no one has thought of it until now.
Yeah, maybe that was their intention the entire time.
But it was so good. They captured so many of the iconic moments from the movie. You truly felt like you were in the movie, because it wasn't, the clowns already look so ridiculous that it's not a stretch at all.
Yeah, it's not an interpretation of them. They're literally there.
Got an actor playing a face character like in like Janine and Ghostbusters, or Stranger Things, or stuff like that. No, they're just the characters jumping in front of you, acting like clowns.
And if you've seen the movie, obviously they're trying to go out. They're killer clowns. They're trying to kill you. So it's all makes sense. There's this kind of a dinosaur shadow puppet gag from the movie that was really cool to see in person.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're walking aboard the spaceship. It's so bright and colorful. It was just so much fun to be in there. That obviously we got sprayed with water in there. That was, I think it even got my camera as I was filming, because it was, I don't remember what it was, but they got us. What'd you say? Cut out.
It's a clown.
It's a clown, right? Of course.
It was a clown that sprayed you. I think it was one of the guns.
Yeah, I think they might have had a water gun. But I think one of our both favorite parts is there was we got held up for some reason for a good portion of time. Like it was over a minute at least, but we were the line was not moving, so we were stuck in this bathroom scene, which simulates these kind of like one-eyed creatures coming out of the wall and toilet, and those were puppets. And everything at Horror Nights is on a cue system with the lights and the music, so whether people are moving or not, the actors or the puppeteers in this case they still have to do it,
Yep.
And but wasn't one of them kind of like peeking out a little bit between the jump scares?
Yeah. This whoever was the puppeteer behind the medicine cabinet was awesome, because even though he was following his cues on when to like actually come out, he was doing this little thing where like the monster would peek out and then go back, and then peek out and then go back. And it was like, he didn't need to do that. He could have just stood back there and did nothing and waited for his cue.
Right.
And then, but he didn't need to do that. But he did. And it was really cool. And it was a little unnerving. And like, it was awesome. It was just that little extra thing that we've come to expect from Universal.
Yeah, it made standing in this room more fun, really.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really know what the holdup was. Maybe one person was too scared to move forward for 2 minutes. I don't know.
Someone fell on the floor. Who knows?
I mean, it wasn't really anything too scary in this house. I mean,
Well, it depends on if you're scared of clowns or
well, if
not.
you're scared of clowns, then the whole thing is scary. Damn, my bad.
But no, it was really cool. And this one was in my top 3, 100%. And I could live in this haunt. Like,
Yeah,
it was beautiful and bright and neon and crazy, and I could live there.
yeah. I'm not sure which one is my number one, but yeah, I agree. You and I were kind of, except for one we'll be getting to in a moment, we're kind of on the same page throughout most of these experiences.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will, listener. But
And I had my top 3, and we've gotten 2 of them so far. So hey, look at that.
Is Ghostbusters in your top 3?
No,
What's the other one?
All Hallows Evil
Oh, I wasn't including that as a thing.
and Killer Clown.
I'm not including that as official base, but you can if you want. But, all right, so then we left the lower lot. Sure, we did something else down there. No Transformers for you, Roxy. You didn't go on.
Nope, we didn't go on Transformers.
No.
That's okay. It's become tradition.
Tradition that you can't go on it.
Yeah, not allowed on Transformers during Halloween Horror Night.
There was a line,
Yeah.
too. It was like a wait. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Normally the rides are walk-ons, but there was a wait. So, anywho,
And we headed up the long escalator ride
yes,
to the upper lot.
Back where we started. Now, in the past recent years, they've had the Terror Tram, which gets on where you take the usual studio tour, takes you to this little area in the back lot, which is the Bates Motel and War of the Worlds crash site and all that stuff. And they didn't do that this year, but they did have 2 haunts near the queue of the backlight tour for the first time that since I've been going. So that was interesting.
I think it's crazy that they didn't have Terror Tram. Like that's a staple.
Yeah,
You know, people that haven't gone. I know a person who hasn't gone in 4 years, I think, or something like that. And we were talking about it, and he was like, "I can't wait to do Terror Tram," and I was like, I got to tell you something.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people there was a photo op there to take it on the Psycho House with Norman Bates, and that was a lot of people's favorite thing to do on the Terror Tram, and that is I don't know. Who knows why? Maybe they're filming something back there. I don't know. No,
Maybe.
Probably not, because that's part of the regular daytime studio tour.
Yeah,
I don't know.
weird, very weird. But we did get 2 brand new houses back there.
Yeah. They did a house on Jordan Peele's Us, and then we had another original house back there, which was The Curse of Pandora's Box. So we did Us first, right?
Yep.
Roxy has not seen the movie, and I have. I enjoyed the movie, and I thought that it could lend itself very easily to a haunt experience, as it starts off in a carnival, there's scenes in a carnival.
And it's the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, right?
Yeah, Santa Cruz Boardwalk. What else? There's just lots of creepy imagery in there. I don't know. It's definitely an opportunity for jump scares, for sure. So this house was really interesting because Jordan Peele was very hands-on with it as the way that he wanted people to experience it. And so it was very different from all the other houses, as in it wasn't really about jump scares that much. I mean, there were some in there, but it was like a slow burn, I guess. Roxy translated that to nothing happened.
Yeah, I was bored. I was legitimately bored. I've never seen the movie, and a lot of times with haunts and experiences, even if you haven't seen the IP, you can still go through it and and at least enjoy it and appreciate it. But with this, I didn't like it at all. I didn't dislike it for any reason. It wasn't bad. It wasn't badly done or anything like that. I had no idea what was going on, and I just didn't connect with it. Whereas James thought it was super cool because it was like walking into the movie.
Essentially, that's what it comes out to. It's like, and so
I think
let's
if I had seen the movie, I might have liked it a whole lot more. But I don't think that it was designed for people who haven't seen the movie in mind.
No, I don't think it was at all. I think it was a companion piece to the movie. And I think that's because Jordan Peele was so hands-on. He's not, in the haunt business. So he wanted his property to be presented whatever way, which overall, I haven't heard too many people say too many negative things about this house or the Orlando version, which he was also just as hands-on, so I assume it's the same exact thing. But all those people love Us, so I guess it's a hit or miss. But I just thought I loved walking through recreations of some of the scenes in there. And it was just a little... in the movie, there's a bunch of rabbits in cages. And not that I was expecting real rabbits, but that's my one letdown, is that there was no rabbits. The cages were empty.
They all escaped.
The rabbits escaped.
All the rabbits escaped, and they were running all over the Universal lot.
So, yeah.
You, total side note having to do with rabbits. Do you remember the movie Summer School from the 80s?
Oh my God, that's a James staple of my youth, of course.
Yes. All right, you remember the rabbit scene?
Yeah.
When they go on the field trip.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Maybe that. I mean, the rabbits weren't like that in Us, but maybe that was one of the inspirations, because Us has like tons of Easter eggs and inspirations. For example, I just found out one recently that in the movie. They're on the boardwalk, and one of the kids says, "What's going on over near the merry-go-round?" And they're like, "Oh, they're just filming a movie," and they never really reference it. But I just
saw the nod to Lost Boys.
Yeah, they're filming Lost Boys over there. So awesome. I love little fun things like that. But
I do. I love that too. I was actually at Santa Cruz on the beach when they were filming Lost Boys.
Oh, so you were there when Us happened?
Yeah.
You should have went along for their adventure.
Right? Well, I was very small.
So was the main character. I can get into Us. It's a whole other thing. But obviously, it's a flashback if the scene is when Lost Boys were being filmed. Right. The whole movie doesn't take place in the 80s. But anywho, that's it. If you've seen Us, you'll probably dig it. If not, you're probably like, I don't really know what the hell's going on. But all that being said, it still was not as bad as Stranger Things. I mean, you got to admit that.
I will admit that. I will. Because, I will admit that because I did not like Stranger Things. And I didn't dislike Us. I just didn't get it, but I didn't dislike it.
Okay.
Stranger Things I thought was not done well. So.
Yeah, there was some cool scares in Us that just missed. There was a few things that I saw happen before it got to me that I was like, oh, that would have been cool if that happened to me, if it timed up. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anywho, all right. Then we went to the next house over there. Like we said, it's the Curse of Pandora's Box. It's an original house. Hollywood doesn't usually do original houses. We had 2 this year, but this one was completely new. We didn't know what to expect whatsoever. And wow, this was a surprise hit of the evening for me. I don't know about you.
It takes my 3rd spot on my top 3 of the night. Not in any particular order.
I was going to ask you the order. I was like, what's your...
Actually, if we're going to put them in order, I would put this one at the top.
Number 1, huh?
Yeah, number 1. This was it. This was my favorite. I love Killer Clowns, but this one really, really spoke to me. I don't know. I don't know. I loved it. I would go in it again right now.
So one thing that I like and some haunts that I've done, which doesn't really happen too often, is letting a scene play out. So many of the haunts, especially at the theme parks, are about getting people through.
Yeah.
And this one started with you're in like a antique shop, or not an antique shop. What kind of shop is it? Would you say?
It was like a curiosity
Yeah, just
shop.
weird oddities, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And something, they have a Pandora's box there, I guess, and somebody opened it. And it was kind of cool, like it was unexpected when it starts happening. At first, like, we're in this room, and then what? I guess we'll just look around because there was nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. You're in this room, and they let it play out. They let it play out in front of you, and it's really, really neat.
So
I like it.
Yeah, that alone I love. That's something that Warner Brothers Horror made here. Did in their haunts, is that you go into a room and a scene plays out, and I like that kind of experience.
Me too. I missed Warner Brothers this year.
Yeah, I did hear a rumbling that they're coming back. It's not gone forever.
I hope so, because I really like them. They do a really good thing. But Universal usually does not do that type of thing, and they did in this first room of Pandora's Box, and it was really cool.
And then from there, just all chaos ensues. It's just it's. I'll let you explain. What is it that made this number one? What do you love it so much for?
Okay, the sets were beautiful, which can be said for a lot of the haunts, but I'm really into any haunt that looks like it put a lot of pride into its sets and its props and stuff like that. And this one in particular, I think above and beyond all the rest, like the details were so good. And I literally just wanted to stop in every room and take it all in. And it's a weird, kind of like Frankenstein and the Wolfman. I didn't really follow the story, but it was so weird. I didn't really have to.
Right.
Like, it was just the Pandora's box opened and all of this bad stuff came out. It's basically you're walking through scenes of all of the stuff that has come out of the box and like taken over the world.
Yeah, I guess. But the difference here, this seemed abstract on purpose, whereas Frankenstein and the Wolfman seems as though it was trying to tell us a story. I guess that's what I would say is a difference.
Yeah, this was like there was a room that was all skeletons, and it was like black light. There was like this black light weird skeleton room. There was a Medusa room where there were like statues of like Greek knights that had been turned to stone. Like there was like a catacombs thing. There was a big spider thing. Like it was just, I don't know. I loved it.
It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know what to expect. I mean, you expect things to be good. But I was just like, it's so much about Halloween Horror Nights. It's about stepping into your favorite horror movies. And they're able to just really create a new environment that just was just immediately enjoyable to be in.
I want to see this movie.
Yeah.
Like I want a movie made out of this haunt, or a series made out of this haunt, or something, like it was the only one that I really felt like I want to turn around and do this again, like numerous times. Just take it all in. Which is why it's my number one, because I wanted to do it again.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll bring it back. It seems to be getting a pretty good reaction. Everyone I know that's been through it has enjoyed it. So and maybe they'll start doing more original in Hollywood.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Orlando always has 4 to 5 original houses out of the 10 or 11 that they do. And those are usually pretty incredible themselves. But Pretty cool stuff. Not much else to say about that. I guess let's mosey on out of the tram loading area where these queues were, and up to the upper lot where the two mazes are up here. They had a scare zone up here, but I don't even remember what it really was supposed to be. It's more
Asian.
Yeah,
it was Asian themed.
Yeah, I guess that came across. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was Asian themed. It was like it had kind of a like old Japanese ghost stories feeling to it.
Yeah,
but
right. Yeah,
but it had a lot of different. It seemed like it had a lot of different Asian cultures like mixed into it.
Yeah, it did. That was not that immersive of an area, but that's always kind of the photo stop and take a photo area.
Yeah. Except none of them wanted to stop and take a photo with me.
Oh,
I was like, come on,
didn't want to break character, huh?
Yeah. But that's where we went to our next house, which is Holidays in Hell, which, as we said last year, was a scare zone.
And yeah, it's this house. This was like a pretty solid house. This was a lot of fun. I mean, it basically take every holiday and turn it into a horror movie.
Every room was a different holiday.
Not even holiday. Every month, right? I mean,
they started with New Year's. It opens on New Year's Eve, and then or New Year's Day or whatever, and then it ends on Christmas. And every holiday is portrayed in a terrifying way. And it's a lot of fun, but I liked it better as a scare zone.
Why'd you like it better as a scare zone?
Because this is another one where there's a lot of detail, and I felt really rushed through this one.
There's a lot that you want to take in. Each scene is very detailed, and it's definitely in the pace that we were going through was very fast.
It was super fast. I almost felt like in the movies when someone's like, especially in horror movies, when someone's like running down a hallway or whatnot, and they get totally discombobulated and turned around, and the camera spins in all directions, and everything gets blurry.
Yeah.
That's what I felt through this house. We got out of it, and I was like, "What the fuck did we just see?"
Yeah, a lot of it was a blur, but there's so much detail. Yeah, it was hard to comprehend. I guess that's its only flaw.
Yep.
I guess the only answer to that, there's pacing of the queue, that would help. But maybe if it was like the scenes were a little longer, so you spent like more time in them. I mean, I guess that would make this super long, but
yeah, but I don't know. It's a great house. Like, it's a great house. The scenes are amazing. I love the interpretation of all of the holidays, but it was a little rushed, and that could have very well just been our experience.
Yeah, could be. Because on the flip, in Killer Clowns, we were stuck for like 2 minutes in one spot. So.
Yep.
All right, and we've made it to our last house of the night, which is House
with Thousand Corpses.
House with Thousand Corpses, which I heard we had very interesting experience in there, as in the polar opposite of Holidays in Hell. You and I pretty much went through this house alone for the most part, and even separate from each other.
Yeah. Like, not like James and I went through the house. No. Like, James went through the house and I went through the house. This was, I think, the only time all night long that we were legitimately alone.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
See, that didn't work for me particularly, because the scares are set up for you not to be walking through the house alone.
Totally. I love being in a haunt alone. Like, I love walking through haunts alone. I love when there's hardly any people or no people. That is when I'm at like my happiest. So
I mean, that makes sense. I was just saying my experience was like, I don't even know how or why, but we both were separated and spaced out way between each other, and no, like it took a long time for me to reach anyone in the house, and so I would say maybe like half of the house I was walking through it by myself at whatever pace I was gonna walk, which was a lot faster than all the cues were, and everything was kind of everything was kind of off. I don't know. All that being said, I mean, just for listeners know, I love the IP. Devil's Rejects is one of my all-time favorite movies. I never got to experience House of Thousand Corpse Houses when it originally was opened back, whatever, in the day, whatever that was. So, I loved walking through the sets and, all that. And but it was, I made me really want to go back and be able to go through it, I guess, at a normal pace. I guess, because maybe I was just walking too fast, and my instinct was either to get to a point where I wasn't alone or to literally stop and watch everything play out. And I didn't do the second one because I thought that eventually people are going to come up behind me.
Right.
So I was like, I guess I'll just keep going until I can slow down and take it all in. I don't know. It was just weird. We were tired at the end of the night. But what I can say is that once I finally reached that point, one of the best scares, tricks, it wasn't really scary me, but whatever, of the night took place. I was like, wow, that was really good. So this I have to spoil it, so people could be warned if they haven't checked this one out. So towards the end of the movie, Dr. Satan is
Dr. Satan.
Oh, actually, before I even continue, one thing I definitely loved about walking through the house, alone or not, was just the random like audio of Bill Moseley and Sherry Moon Zombie, just like random quotes to the movie. It's like I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work, and just all this.
Yeah.
Just like they were just kind of floating in the air. They weren't like synced up to anybody talking, anything like that. And I love that.
I liked it because it gave me a chance to do something super stupid that I wouldn't have done if there were other people around. But when we got to the Dr. Satan part, I literally stopped and did the little like devil horns and yelled Dr. Satan just like the dude in the movie. And I'd have never done that if there was a bunch of people around, but I did, and it was it was just fun. It just made it fun.
Yeah, again, this alone experience is not. It's not really cost effective for Universal.
Not really.
But there's this scene in the film. Dr. Satan is, he's basically drilling open Chris Hardwick alive. He's got his brain. He's about to drill into his brain, so the scene is in the haunt, and of course you're like glued to it because you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And like, how is they gonna like drill the saw into his brain? You're like, what's gonna happen? And what happens as soon as that saw hits his head, this cannon blast of water shoots right in front of him.
And that is when I caught up with James.
And I got soaked, and I'm like, that was good. I was like, that is awesome. It hit me in the chest, not my face, my eyes, or my ear. But I was like, that was really cool because obviously you think it's like a blood splatter,
Yeah.
all over you. So that's one house. Particularly, I'd like to go through again. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to go back this year or not, but not just because I thought it was so awesome, just because I want to have the intended experience of going through the house. So that was it, right? I mean, there's not too much else to say about the event. Besides, overall, I think this is the best it's been in it. Well, since I've been going for the past 4 years or 5 years or whatever. It was.
Yeah, we had a great time. We did it in I would say like a timely fashion. If we had not had events like all 5 days before that, I don't feel like we would have walked out super exhausted.
Okay, well, that's it. Well, we have much more haunt coverage coming this season on Stay Haunted, but Definitely add Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood to your agenda if you're in the Los Angeles area, if you're visiting or if you live here. They did it right this year.
Because let's be honest, Halloween Horror Nights is, if you love haunts and you love the Halloween season, it is one that should not be missed.
No. And who knows if Pandora's Box is coming back, so get in there and experience that. And I guess to conclude, I guess my number one is Pandora's Box, Killer Clowns, and Holidays in Hell is my number 3.
Nice.
So a lot of props to the originals. We did not do Walking Dead because we've walked through it many times, and it's the same thing
every time.
So, but that's there for you too if you just want that zombie walker fix. Alrighty, well that's gonna wrap up our review of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood 2019.
Ooh.
If you want to see photos, show notes, links to all of our social media, check out all of our extensive written content covering theme parks, movies, haunts, and beyond. And to see our videos, including our show Creepy Quest, just go to creepykingdom.com. And of course, if you want to support us here, the best way to do it is to become a patron at our Patreon account. Get exclusive content. Help us keep the creepy ship floating through the seas of boringness as we... I don't know where this metaphor is going. Anyways, patreon.com/creepykingdom. Many more episodes of Stay Haunted are coming your way. We have been covering haunts quite extensively. If you follow us on social media, which you should, at Creepy Kingdom on everything, FYI. And we are ready to talk about it. We're ready to show you our videos. We're just ready to have a haunting good time. So get ready for all that. But until next time, stay haunted.